move on to the next session from career to calling, building a purpose-driven professional path.
How do we build careers aligned with personal purpose? This panel will delve into aligning career paths with long-term fulfillment. Our esteemed panelists include Captain Dilip Narayan, Director HR, EPAM Systems. Please give a huge round of applause for Sir. Captain Dilip is a strategic HR leader with over 26 years of diverse, multicultural experience in the Indian Army, manufacturing, and global tech environments. He is passionate about creating workplaces where people and business succeed together. As the director and culture custodian at EPAM Systems, Dilip focuses on building a strong organizational culture and is known for his leadership coaching techniques in empowering leaders. Next up is Kasturi Prasad, Vice President CGI. Kasturi has close to 3 decades of experience in IT and consulting in areas like customer success and employee engagement. As the Vice President at CGI, her main focus is on the end-to-end delivery within the insurance P&C reinsurance arena. As the DEI champion and chairperson for POSH at CGI, she emphasizes on creating inclusive environments through strategic initiative. As a team, they believe in embrace innovation and capability development in fostering client relationships.
Next up, we have Ms. Simi Sabane, Chief Growth Officer, Denso India. Simi is a communications veteran with over 30 years of experience. She has gathered experience across various categories and worked on some marquee brands like Mondelez, HUL Foods and Beverages, ITC Foods, Titan Watches, Sub Miller, Madura Garments, The Hindu, TVS Motors, Toyota, and IFB Appliances, to name a few. Her mantra being, good work always works. She believes in nurturing ideas with a sense of purpose. Next up, we have Ms. Tripti Tandon, Head B2B Sales, TransUnion Sibil Limited. Tripti is an astute professional with over 2 decades of product, process, and sales experience in banking, insurance, financial services, and customer service industry. With a keen eye on acquisition and servicing of retail, SME, and corporate clientele, she has been involved in setting up and nurturing business portfolios from scratch. Her 360-degree domain expertise in BFSI has worked across the assets, insurance, and banking industry and has always been the go-to for what actually works. May we have a huge round of applause for all our panelists.
This session will be moderated by Lakshmi Vijay Kumar, AVP, Events and Conference, Avtar Group. May I have a huge round of applause for ma'am. With over 15 years of journalistic experience in the print media, Lakshmi has worked in leading business dailies, Business Standard in Delhi, and the Hindu Business Line in Chennai. At Avtar, she carefully curates the group's media presence to align with the group's overarching vision on powering workplace culture and increasing women's workforce participation. She spearheads the events function to conceptualize, form strategies, and operationalize the events and conferences at Avtar. We have come to the close of the day. Brace yourself for a power-packed session as we near the conclusion of an impactful day. This session will celebrate inclusion and success.
Thank you, Aniket. Yeah, that's me. I know you've all been receiving innumerable emails from me. So I'm going to pitch the conference first. So we are all going to send you the feedback forms after this conference ends at 5 p.m. Do log in, do give your feedback. It will only help us curate better experience for you all. So thank you so much, dear panelists. It's really a pleasure and honor for me to be here, sharing the stage with the stalwarts here. So I'm going to just take a moment and set the context for the panel, right? So we're talking about career calling and how do you build a purpose-driven career, right? So you know that one moment when your phone rings and the true caller flashes saying potential spam. You know, that's exactly how a career break feels, right? Somebody who's been through a career break, I can tell you that's exactly what it feels like. And when actually career decides to call you again, right? So you're looking at your phone and then the career decides to call you again. When you're in your first career, you're all thrilled, you're all energized. We are all like, okay, I'm here to, change the world. And then your second career comes in. The first thing, I'm going to take the liberty of having a psychologically safe place here and say this, when you're entering into your second career, you will be like, let me change the pajamas first. You know, we'll change the world later. That's where you are, right? But then the second time, you are very bright. Your eyes are filled with dreams and ambitions. You want to conquer the boardrooms. And the first career, the first career you want to, conquer the boardrooms. And you feel, okay, coffee is the personality trait. But you know what happens? Life, right? We all get married, we all have children, we all face mobility, all of those things happen. So then what do? Midlife crisis, not to mention, somebody spoke about the midlife in the morning. And then what do? You step back, you pause, and then you only realize that world has moved at a speed of 5G while you're still buffering. Trung, like that you're buffering, right? But then suddenly the career calls you back. So that's when you realize it's different. We are no longer chasing the job titles. We are no longer part of those races, like, where you're a contestant towards a race. You have done your soul searching. We have all done the homework on what it means to have a purposeful career. We know crisis management. Please, when I say crisis management, read it as stakeholder management, having managed the adamant, stubborn toddler to having the greens, and also the stakeholders at homes, the mother-in-law, the mothers-in-law, the fathers-in-law, and all of that. And then you have developed this nirvana kind of a situation where you're that monk, you have that patience, and okay, fine, we have attained there. Okay, let me now get to my calling. So that's what career calling is all about. On that note, I'm going to ask each one of you here to begin with, thanks Dilip for bringing in the gender diversity here. Can we have a big round of applause for Dilip? Thank you, Dilip. That was really wonderful. So let's begin with you, Dilip. How do you define a purpose in your career?
Well, I'll put it this way. You must have heard the story Alice in Wonderland, right? So there's an anecdote there. Alice gets lost in the jungle and she asks the cat, which way to go. The cat says, it all depends on where do you want to go. And Alice then says, not really sure. And then the cat then says, when you don't know where to go, then doesn't matter, take any way. So it's precisely, this is what, when you have purpose to your work, you get a direction. And that's very, very important. What I mean to say is, when you can bring your skill, your passion, your values to your project goals or to your professional goals, the conversion creates an amazing synergy. This synergy is what will keep adding to your work. And when I say purpose is not something that you will write, you create it. Every day you would work towards this, adding this value, integration with the professional goals, and then you know what's your calling, what Lakshmi was just talking about. And to me, that is what it is. When you can do a self-discovery there and know what will keep you awake. When time is not ticking for you and you're enjoying your work. You discover this as you grow. And it is very, very important in that sense to have this direction, to keep looking at your jobs and your daily tasks in such a way which creates a lot of value for you because it is connected to you. That's how I look at purpose.
Yeah, thank you, Dilip. Thanks a lot. I'm going to go to Kasturi. I know Kasturi's life journey when I was having a chat before the session. It's absolutely inspirational. All of you who haven't networked, please do network with Kasturi. There's so much to learn from Kasturi. Over to you, Kasturi.
Thank you, Lakshmi. So my childhood, I grew up in a joint family. And I was the first engineering graduate in my entire family. So my grandparents were my motivation. They always stood by me. And, they always instilled the fact that you being the first person, you need to lead the way for the rest. And so I think I got motivated at that time when I actually, after reading the question, I was really thinking hard. And then I felt that what came to my mind is, for me, career means financial independence, of course, right? It is rudimentary thing, but nobody can deny that fact. And the second thing is respect. And third is confidence. I think these three things I gained a lot more because I sustained in the career, in spite of all my challenges, which I will share in a bit.
Thank you, Kasturi. Over to you, Simi. I know at Dentsu, the kind of purpose-driven work we do, and we've been associated with you also for a brief. Yeah, over to you.
So, when you say what's purpose in career, you know, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that we spend many more working hours at work than at home. So, how important it is to have your values aligned, your personal and professional values aligned, because that's where really they are maximum at display. To me, you know, the biggest purpose is when you can really feel that you're not really going to fulfill a job. You're going because you want to go to that workplace and want to do that work. It almost becomes effortless after a certain point of time, where it's not about proving to anybody. Now, this may sound very cliche, but a space or where the best is out there, you know what you bring to the table, and you're satisfied. So you're happy. Again, happy is a very simple word, but very hard to get. So I think that's what really differentiates a career from a job. When it becomes effortless, when you're happy, when you're raring to go, when you're motivated, when you're going through an adrenaline rush, you know, you're just raring to go. So yeah, that for me is career.
Very true, very true. The key differentiator over here is it's not a job anymore, right? So it's a career. You want to be part of that particular moment in your career. Over to you, Tripti.
It's hard to go the last one, but let me try and add to what everybody said. You know, I've been born and brought up in a joint family, and I was having a chat with Mahua here from Aditya Birla that I was born in a very small town called Nagda. Now, most of you may not have even heard of that town, in a joint family. The place I grew up initially, we were not even allowed to wear Western clothing. From there to where I am now. So for me, it is a symphony, an orchestra of music where everything comes together. So the first thing for me was financial independence, because women were not allowed to work from where I come from. So my first goal, I remember, was to first be bold enough to say, no, I don't want to take science or maths and get married. I want to take commerce and do MBA. That was my first battle. 25 years back. From there, it was, okay, now that I've done my MBA, if I'm with Citi, if I'm with a multinational bank, I've achieved my purpose in life. So when I got a job with the first multinational firm, I was like, okay, now I've achieved my purpose in life. And from there to where I am now, it's been a beautiful events which have led me here. In due course of time, I realized that the purpose keeps developing, keeps adding, and it is something so intangible that gives you happiness. You don't need to work with a non-profit organization or take a break in your career. You can bring in purpose to your work every single day and marry it to your other goals. And that is what I've achieved over the years, where I bring in something which either solves problem for others, opens the doors of opportunities for others, especially women. And I may take a minute longer, but at TransUnion, we are celebrating, Sibyl, we are celebrating 25 years. And this year, we are focusing on empowering women, because we believe that the first step to women empowerment is financial literacy. And you know, there is a report we published with Niti Aayog a week back, which says that women borrowers actually are better at repaying than the male counterparts, which means that they are hungry to prove themselves. We just need to provide them the platform to get the right finances. They could start their small micro enterprises. So that is one that we are working. And second, purpose, diversity, helping people comes from within. So I'm very proud to say that I had sales for Sibyl in the country. Our sales ratio, diversity ratio, is at 42%, which is one of the highest in the industry.
Wow.
And we want to take it to 50%
Wow.
over the next 3 years.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's really awesome. We're all battle hardened, you know, but I'm just stuck upon what Tripti said, that you published a report with Niti Aayog. I'm just seeing a little bit of collaboration work that we can do. Anju, if you're here, I hope you heard it. We need to get to Tripti on this, so we'll do something about it. I'm going to come to you now. Tripti is she said she's passionate about empowering women in sales, right? So let me tell you, my dear delegates, Tripti is somebody who's made it really, really big in sales. She very humbly spoke about her background, but let me tell you, she has a solid background in sales. And she also encourages women in sales. Now, being a seasoned banker, being somebody who's been in the sales for such a long time, I want to ask you, Tripti, how have you been able to make those purpose-driven decisions? Because yours is a number crunching game all the time. So then how do you balance that? How do you, ensure that your decisions are purpose, and what is the balance? What is the mantra?
So I learn every day. I'm still learning, right? So continuous learning is something that I believe in. But to give you a perspective, when I joined sales 20 years back in Mumbai, in the bank that I was working in, I was the only female in sales. Now, imagine a scenario that you're the only female in sales, and all your offsites, all of them happen in locations where you see all of them having fun. You try and find your safe, you spoke about safe place, right? You try and find your safe place. What I've realized over the years is I need to be that safe space for the women to be able to come and speak to me. I need to be able to be that safe space where women come and talk to me without them being judged, because all of us here are seasoned professionals who've kind of made peace with the fact that this is who I am, this is what gives me happiness, and this is where I want to be. But the mid-level and the entry level, there are so many women who are still struggling to figure out what is it that they want to do, whether they will be judged for taking a leave. If the child is sick at home, what should they really do? There's an important board meeting to attend. So how do you create that safe space? How do you empathize more? These are a couple of things that I work on every day. Yes, there are number targets. And believe you me, guys, once you reach the top or once you reach the level of a senior leadership, you cannot play the card that, I'm a woman and I want to go back and take care of my family every time. Because end of the day, they've given you equal opportunity. You better prove yourself, right? So A, your support system at home has to be solid. B, please start empathizing. I firmly believe in the mantra that, be the woman who fixes the crown of another woman without talking about it or speaking about it. Guys, please help women, because what happens is, I'm giving an example, a lot of men, and I have had the fortune of having better male bosses, to be very honest. Yeah, she's agreeing, they are more empathetic, and that's a fact. So I remember when I go to my boss, when my daughter was all of 2 years, she's 12 now, that I want to attend mother-toddler session, he would give me twice a week, 3 hours off to go and attend the mother-toddler session. Do I get that same level of empathy from a female boss? I wasn't fortunate enough. I wasn't. So I'm trying to correct those mistakes. I'm trying to create that safe space. Yet at the same time, if your numbers and your target is on your head, you have to do it. There is no escape. But does that mean you have to show me your face 9 to 5? No. You can take care of both. And at any given point of time, guys, there is no perfect work-life balance. You have to choose your priorities. If your child is sick at home and if there's a meeting, you will go at home. You will know that you're missing that. If your child just has a cold, it can be taken care of. You have to. You have to miss some parent-teacher meetings. You have to. After COVID, online is enabled, but I've missed so many of them. But there is no perfect balance, but a little more empathy and creating that safe space. And third and last piece is, showing them that you're vulnerable. Showing the women, yes, it is difficult. Yes, I'm also vulnerable. Yes, I've also made mistakes. It's called gaining the trust. If you lead by example, you're the role model, doesn't mean you don't have your issues in life or challenges in life. You open up, you're vulnerable, they will trust you, and don't break their trust.
Thank you, thank you. So essentially, in fact, Tripti, at Avatar, we of course, work-life balance, we say doesn't exist because, once you put something on two balances, one either goes up and the other comes down. So we rather integrate. In fact, in a very recent article that Dr. Soundarya wrote, I think it was for the Times of India, if I'm not wrong, where she speaks about work-life influence, and chapterizing your every phase of life. How do you chapterize and how do you influence your environment or your ecosystem to influence one another so that both coexist? And Tripti actually beautifully spoke about, she didn't use the word mentor, but then what Tripti was also talking about is to create that environment, that ecosystem where you have a list of allies. I can tell you I have a list of allies sitting out here and somebody is sitting in the behind and Karthik and Umashankar were here. So you create that ecosystem of allies around you and then you build that ecosystem of mentors and career advocates who will not only speak about you when you're there, but they also advocate for you when you're not there in that environment. So I'm going to come to you, Dilip. Speaking about mentors and allies, nobody better than Dilip can actually answer this question on how can women professionals mentor others. Tripti spoke about be empathetic and create that value system. So how can women professionals mentor others to help them find their purposes in their careers? And finally, you know, when you can also talk about those few things that all of us can remember, because even I want to remember that few things. Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk about our program that we run on the same topic. It's called LEAP. It's basically about the mentoring. You know, when women, you know, there's an age and there's a time span. You know, when they spend about 8 to 9 years into work, a lot of life events happen around them, and we see there is a significant drop in the workforce itself, about 20 to 25%. That's the time that they need the maximum support, and this LEAP program addresses that. Now, one of the first things that we do in this program is self-identification. Do I know myself and who I am? So we work with them, we talk to them, we get some good stories for them, which can inspire them. From the industry, within the company, those are real to them. They see that somebody who is 2 levels up to them, how they have succeeded, how they have made it to this way. So we make them talk to them. They come and talk about their own life experiences. And this self-identification is a process wherein they talk about their strengths, they look at, you know, what inspires them, and that's where probably this purpose that we're talking about also triggers. That from the job, then it starts to become a calling for them. I'll give you an example if I can take a minute here. There's a woman who came to us, to the core team of DEI, and said that she has an idea. She's a new mother. And she experiences that mothers actually don't know what is the right kind of nourishment or what should be the food exactly given to. I mean, the diet for a child. So she had an idea. She called this program as Nutralicious, and she said that I will develop an app for internal usage itself, and can they do it? To me, it sounded not to market. I said that that's what we are looking for. You know, that's a story that I would want to talk about. And when you are looking to mentor somebody, you should look for these cases. They are the ones who will come and narrate the story. That instills a lot of confidence in women who are going through a lot of things. Not everybody has the same scale. And it's very important to accept this. There's a no, it's all same. But if you observe it from outside, you will see there are a few dominant voices in the room. And they continue to talk, and their thinking of that dominant voice always prevails. That could be of a male. Mostly it is of a male. Now, what we do is, now I don't tell them that you should speak up. I don't think it can work like that. Speak up to me is a byproduct, again, which I was mentioning as a question, as answer to one of the questions. So what we do is, as an example I'm giving you, I use a framework, a 7-step framework we have designed on critical thinking. It's a formal framework we've designed. Now, what this framework does is, it puts you into different stages of thinking. And everybody in the room has to contribute to that stage. So what you're essentially doing is, you are giving them a structured thinking process. You are creating a functional process of speak up. How do you make it functional? So in a mentoring, you should look at any activity that you do. How can you make it functional for employees to apply it? Telling somebody that you should speak up and all is good. But how do they apply it back? So I have given them this tool that use critical thinking. Now 7 steps, you find evidence, you find, you know, the root cause, each stage, you are doing analysis, you're doing solutioning. So everybody is contributing to that point which we are looking at. Now that biasness, that, self, like I don't have that confidence goes away. And that's what happens, for women when you're mentoring them. These are the areas that you need to identify. Again, there's no prescription to this. I am talking of what we are doing at EPAM, and we go to ground and work with them. So these 3 points immediately comes to me, but if it makes sense,
It does certainly make sense. So what Dilip is saying is structured mentoring. So structured mentoring may not be necessarily a formal mentoring program, but even in our everyday conversations when we are mentoring one another, so you build a structure within yourself and then provide that structure to the other mentee. Yeah, that's precisely what Dilip was trying to explain to us. So I'm going to come across to Simi, just going zigzag here. So Simi comes from an industry which is all about perception. She is from the PR industry. So it's all about perception and building good perception, right? Building good stories. So coming from that industry, Simi, where influence actually shapes public perception. So could you please share some examples of your work wherein you worked with organizations where there has been active contribution for the larger good? I'm not talking about the social good, but in the creating that perception which actually went on. Of course, we all know how brand perceptions are sometimes, but we're talking about the purpose here.
Great. So, when creativity is fueled by technology and by purpose, it's very fulfilling. And I must share one case with you. This was done in our Tokyo office called the tuna scope. So tuna, as we know, is one of the ocean's greatest resources, treasured resource. And in Japan, there are a set of artisans actually who are skilled in assessing the quality of tuna. It's done, they actually look at the cross-section of the tail. And through that, they figure out the freshness, firmness, flavor, and all of that. Now, this breed is declining. Now, the whole idea was, but yet you still need to know the quality of tuna because it's consumed hugely over there. That's when Dentsu Tokyo came up with this whole idea, or rather whole concept of bringing, that's where basically AI stepped in.
Yes.
So it was really a combination of deep learning and the mastery of these artisans who understand how to assess tuna. When both combined, we came up with a solution which then, could be transferred to any part of the globe. So now just looking at, getting AI to step in, you can actually figure out the quality of tuna in any part, and it's 90% accurate. So that was very good because it was, something which was critical for that market and of course, many markets across the globe. That's one. Closer home in India, one of the most recent things that we did was Motorola Deep Connect. So, there are some 330,000 miners, coal miners, who work, underground in darkness, away from their families. And they cannot connect with the families because they're not allowed to carry their mobile phones. And they're completely cut off, right? So, but they've got their walkie-talkies. Okay. So what Motorola did was actually converted, and that's again something that we developed as a concept, and of course they took it on from there, is to convert the radio signals to voice.
Oh, okay.
And therefore now they could connect with their families. Of course, smartphone was required on the other end. And the families could also initiate the calls through their app, through a Deep Connect app. So, there's such tear-jerker stories that you hear of these men who could connect with their families when they wanted. Simple thing like just singing a lullaby to a little child, So that was one. And the last bit that I can share with you, very simple one. This was in Bareilly. The whole idea was to eradicate malaria. And Bareilly, a district apparently contributes 50% of the malaria cases in UP. And there's this whole concept of Kala Tika, which is to ward away evil eye, women, put that whatever, the black tika. Now that black mortine, what it did was it used natural ingredients to create this black tika, which actually was a mosquito repellent. So the mothers continued putting the black tika, and in the process, the mosquitoes stayed away from the child. So
that's pretty cool.
So yeah, so there are times you manage to create such work for the clients, and it's very fulfilling because it's not just creativity for the sake of creativity; it's making a difference.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so there are lots of cases, but yes, I thought I must share
These
these.
are really beautiful ones. Kala Tika to all of us here, to the beautiful women sitting out here. I'm going to come to you, Kasturi. Simi spoke about AI. Simi spoke about how technology beautifully, blends with creativity. And you coming from that background. So, Kasturi, we, of course, all of us know that AI and technology is constantly evolving. Then, how do we then ensure that our work remains meaningful while keeping pace with the rapid change of change? The AI is reshaping the way we work, and the future of work is obviously being shaped. So how do we then ensure that our work remains meaningful and purposeful while keeping pace with the technology?
That's a very difficult question, by the way. So, because I don't think all of us here have still got a hang of what AI is fully
Absolutely.
about, right? So, I think everybody is trying to get on the bandwagon, but we really don't know where we are headed to. And sometimes we take the most rudimentary case study and think, okay, can I bring AI here? Which will not make sense at all. So I think the current situation across the industry is that everybody wants to get onto AI, they want to learn, they want to develop a lot of solutions using AI, they want to involve AI in AD, the application development area, the maintenance area, and all of these spaces. So CGI also, for one, we are getting onto this in a very aggressive way. And like every other company, CGI also has invested close to $1 billion on AI. So, but how are we really imbibing it into our day-to-day life? How are we presenting it to our clients? So we are taking up all the mundane activities, and for now, we are saying, like, can we bring in, so automation was always there. Right now, it's more about automation with data, with analytics. So how can we bring in that aspect to understand the history, to understand the behavior now and in the future, right, for a particular application? So like this, we built a lot of solutions already. So CGI has a huge IP base. We have close to 181 IP solutions. So one is looking at how do we incorporate AI into all of them, and also coming up with new solutions. So while we do this, trying to stay close to the purpose of all of this, right? And trying to stay meaningful is most important, and ethical, right?
Yeah.
So it is very easy to get lost in saying, I have all the client's SSN number, I have the client's address. Now I think it is easy for me to put an AI around it and do some analytics and come up with a solution. But people hardly know that that's the kind of data we should not be using, right? So we have an ethical committee in the organization, which apart from giving, on one end, there is a lot of aggression on training us, giving us the awareness and getting us the sandbox environment, the licenses, everything, right? And asking us and motivating us to come up with AI solutions and presenting them to our client to see if the clients are happy with it. On the other hand, this ethics committee also ensures that they are constantly reviewing all these and ensuring that the data, the GDPR and other things in Europe, so how are we really staying close to that and understanding that we don't really mess up and the client, and the client is unhappy. So that is one thing. But more, if I come to this forum on DEI itself, so my team presented, we do the analysis. So all of that is using AI. So by doing that, we are able to summarize the feedback that we received through the surveys, and it's very helpful to us to be able to come up with action items and, call for action and things like that. So I think that is the most relevant approach and case study, which is very meaningful to us because we are definitely getting feedback from, DEI is all about PWD and LGBTQ also, right? So we have got feedback from them saying that, the company has to make it more accessible, have to make it more comfortable. So all of that is really helping us and we are adopting AI in these areas to see how we can get closer to them. For example, one small thing we have done, many of the websites, right, if you have a little bit of color blindness, you can't read the font there, you can't see the pictures there. The people who develop the websites hardly understand what colors to use. So we have accessibility testing We call it a Dr. Sullivan. This actually sprawls around the portal and tells you these are the things you need to change. It's not just the color, it's the font, right? So that it is readable for anybody across the world. So some of these spaces we are using AI and making it really meaningful.
Thank you, thank you. You actually answered my second part of the question also on ethics. So hold on to the mic. I'm going to ask you an out of syllabus question here, Kasturi. So have you ever had a moment, there was ever a point in your life where you had to choose between career progression and stay close to your purpose? How did you navigate it and what did you choose?
I know you were
This is
coming
going to
that.
come to all of you, so maybe you can think of your answers.
Yeah. So I have to quote my own personal
Please, yes.
example here, not example, personal thing here. So I am married to a person who's 100% hearing impaired, right? And it didn't happen over the years. He was, I think after he was born, he became hearing impaired. And it was a perfectly arranged marriage. So if you ask me now, how did I even get the courage to accept? I can't tell you anything now. But for some blind reason, I accepted. And my early years of my career were very difficult. Very stringent project timelines, deep red projects, escalations, and I had to, every day was a juggle. I had 2 children, no support, literally. I had to depend on third-party support, no relatives like parents or in-laws, and a husband with hearing impairness who was also working, right? So every single day I would think, do I even need this job, right? And you can, and I don't know how much you would understand, communication issues are always there, right? Even today, right, after so many years of wedding, we do have certain things, right? Like I said this, and no, I didn't hear it. It happens all through. But one thing that my husband always said was, see, I know you have accepted, and thank you for accepting to marry me. But in the life, at any point, if you want to work, I want you to continue to do that. Right? I will stand by you and I will support you. I will support you in all the best of my ability, but I don't want you to give up your aspiration and dream just because we are not able to manage on the family side. And till date, that is very true. So I'm very happy to say that I crossed a lot of hurdles. You mentioned it. I was one among 40 leaders, a lady leader in a big hall. I went through those struggles as well, where I would not speak up. Never, out of fear of being ridiculed, out of fear of being stared at. But I went through a mentorship, like you said, which is when they told me. So I also mentioned that I grew up in a joint family and my grandparents were always telling me, right? So the other thing that they inculcated into me unknowingly was that I have to be right always. And that was holding me down throughout my career. I wouldn't ask a single question in the hall thinking that I may not be right. So that mentorship actually helped me. I knew I was struggling in my career, and so when I went through that mentorship, I was just asked a plain question, why do you have to be right? And I didn't have a question. I said, what stupid question is this? I have to be right. That's a given, that's obvious. So for half an hour, he kept asking me, why do you have to be right? So that's when it hit me hard. And it was like almost a switch. Overnight, I said, now I don't care. I don't know who's going to think about me. If I have a question, I'm going to ask. If I have an opinion, I'm going to voice it. Right? I'm not going to lose anything. And I'm just going to live a free person from then. So the multiple things I went through to get to the point here. But why I want to share this here is, I think many of us have a better situations in life. And you know, people take a break in their career, but it should be a short-term break. You should come back. I know every woman there, as an individual, is a very good performer, is an achiever, right? Somewhere you bury your aspirations, but I think you should strike back at the earliest. And I'm sure we will all succeed.
Sure, Kasturi. Thank you. That was really beautiful. I think the time is up, but since I've already asked, I'm going to quickly get each one of you to respond to that question briefly, 30 seconds, each one of you, rapid fire.
So to me, it's purpose and career progression. I don't make them compete with each other.
Ah, lovely.
Okay? I'm driven by purpose. Career progression is a byproduct of it. And I leave it at that.
Thank you,
So you know, sitting in that word conflict, between purpose and, whatever, how to navigate. Uh, Basically, have clarity on your priorities and on your purpose, and no ambiguity on that. And at the same time, I tell all the women, you don't have to get aggressive. Don't leave your poise and grace. You can be assertive without being aggressive, but have complete clarity.
beautiful.
That's very, very important. In fact, there's so many things that she said, and I thought I would pick up from there, but now we don't have time.
Okay, 30 seconds. All I really have to say is I agree with what he said in the beginning, that for me, purpose and there's no conflict, because I try and bring in purpose to everything that I do. Couple of things we've started in TransUnion, Women-tastic Leaders, where we voluntarily mentor the people. There is a safe space we've created. We have these beautiful tents where anybody can come and talk to me or certain set of leaders. So I think I bring in purpose to wherever I work. Since the time I've started realizing that there are lesser diversity, wherever I work, I try and bring in purpose.
Full moderating all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, we will do the honors.
Thank you. That was a great session with such amazing insights.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
speakers and moderators. Kindly stay back on stage, and I request Lakshmi ma'am to present a small memento as a token of our love and appreciation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kasturi. Thank you. Thank you. Sure, Umashankar, we will. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. Sure. Is this fine? Thank you.